Hey guys, welcome back to Free Running. Today with me and BioEnchanted again, and
Hello.
also Matt Rocks 101.
Hi, I'm Matt.
Now,
So
this first
this-
level,
yeah.
to just introduce it, is the main character. Well, the main character, the character you play as his home turf. It's the roof of his apartment complex. A
So
decent
he
introductory
owns-
level.
He owns all of this, right?
Yeah, all the
It's his home.
This is his
whole
turf.
thing.
Yes.
This is his only home. He lives on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a few small mistakes here, but they only take a few seconds each. So, and they're a good way of showing how the controls can occasionally backfire.
No, it's not good. This is unacceptable.
Well, you're about to see some
Gainer.
ridiculous stuff coming up after I screw this up because of hitting that railing or something here.
Yeah. So I did watch a bit of this, and so obviously, like, well, not obviously, but like, oh,
Like that, for
oh,
example.
oh,
Beware of
baby.
walls during these kind of challenges. They will ruin you
Don't do
forever.
that.
his head. It just gave up. Like he knocked himself out.
Wait till you see the score I get on the working one.
Yeah. So, a small thing, I noticed that, like, so the game kind of starts you off in just an open area exploration thing.
Yeah.
But it still, like, kind of has a countdown. You know, like, 3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah,
And-
it's just to kind of get you ready to. It basically is games where it's telling you when you can take control.
I guess so. So, I guess, what was the score requirement here? I guess
It was
10,000?
2,000.
2,000?
Yes,
Wow.
I just completely destroyed it because.
How
this
do you
is how-
feel about these events where they still run the clock down even
Well,
though you're way past
it's
the
just
score?
that every one of them has a 2-minute timer, and near the middle end of the game, you need those 2 minutes because the score balloons up to like 150,000 needed occasionally.
Huh.
And that is hell in the levels it asks you to do so, because you're often given very limited space.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you... Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna ask, because you need a lot of room to be able to do stuff, right?
Yeah, often with those kind of score challenges, the best way to deal with things is find a big open area and just ground trick, ground trick, ground trick. Just get a big combo going and don't crash into any walls or you will cry.
I might ask this later once I see an event where, you know, you need to, like, you're absolutely challenged, but do you think it's a mistake that it's actually really tough to, you know, run across the level and do all these different things and have a really hard time doing points? I mean, getting the points, and so you feel like you have to just do ground tricks. Do you feel like that's a mistake, or
Well,
do
you
feel
do get
kind of
noticeably
intended?
fewer tricks for doing the actual platforming and stuff, but that's largely because it's mostly slower when it comes to the score per trick. Because you need to wait for like each wall run to end, that kind of thing, but here these tricks only take a fraction of a second or a few seconds, depending on the trick.
Because coming from a game where I had to do a lot of things that feel unintentional, it kind of feels unintentional to just run back and forth doing front flips.
Yeah, but you get a lot more tricks when it comes to getting bigger multipliers towards the end of the game, so it becomes a lot more interesting doing a wider variety of things. Here you don't need to
Yeah.
do that much in variety because A, you don't have much, and B, doesn't need much score.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or does he look like he moves really stiffly?
He kind of does when he's not doing awesome stuff.
I was gonna say, because it doesn't look like he's moving very fluidly from animation to animation. It looks like he gets to an animation and like all momentum stops.
Yeah, it's not that bad when it's doing actual tricks and doing more complex stuff, but when it comes to just basic like walking to places, he can be a bit
Yeah.
stiff.
Yeah, he looks really stiff walking around.
Yeah, and that can be a real pain in the ass when you're trying to aim your character, particularly on these poles. It's very slow because you need to basically hit the direction, and sometimes you'll accidentally be hitting up slightly and it won't work, and it's just like, come on, don't be that finicky.
I cannot get over how your dude is like Spider-Man. Like, from a rest, he jumps 15 feet in the air.
Can't you?
I mean, I can, but I assumed I was the only one.
I mean,
you
that's
know,
how
it's
I would my
refreshing.
kitchen cupboards.
It's
I live in a
refreshing
cathedral,
seeing a
so-
game that's representative of my real life.
Yeah.
That's why I cannot get over it.
Yeah, that was a freestyle. They were kind of an introductory mission to get the hang of navigating the level.
Yeah.
This is target hits. Essentially, it's just collecting all the targets in a particular time limit. Essentially, it's a test of how well you can navigate the level on its own terms. You generally, and at least in this one, you're going to like almost every part of the level.
Yeah.
So is that a
le-
health meter bottom left?
Yeah, the harder the fall you take without, say, break falling, that meter will go down. And that's really the most
Oh.
efficient way of getting that, because you can't do a slingshot around that corner, because there's nothing to grab. Yeah, some of these can be a bit of a pain in the ass to get because of that, because there's no good ways to speedily get them, so you just have to sit there and run up the wall like an idiot. But it doesn't happen too often. It's only the occasional one that's like that. For the most part, you can get them in kind of doing tricks at them and getting them and stuff, and say wall running, then slingshotting around the corner, then grabbing a pole and keeping going like that. You keep the momentum going rather well when there's more stuff to trick off. But this is a fairly simple introductory level to get the hang of how the levels are structured and the way the challenges unlock.
So, how well do you think the game flows? Like,
in the earlier levels, as you've noticed here, it can be a bit clunky, but towards the end of the game, when you're supposed to be, when you know where to go, it's like when you've lost a few races a few times and you know the layout of the race enough to know where the checkpoints are going to spawn and how to quickly get there, it becomes very fluid and very exciting.
I see. Alright.
Because it's like, okay, now slingshot around this corner, run down this wall, jump onto this pole, go onto this pole, go onto this pole, kind of just like that. It's like really fluid when you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. So while this specific, I guess, kind of target mission or whatever, see, like, we've made Mario references, so I'm seeing these as 15 red coins right now.
Kind of, yeah.
These target things, like, some of them kind of show you a good line to follow, and some of these are just you need to run around the level to find them.
Yeah.
Like, this one looks more like a run around the level to find them.
Towards later in the game, they become more of a trail to follow, and having to figure out how to navigate the level to get to the next breadcrumb. Yeah. But early in the game, there's not as much of that needed because the levels are much simpler. But when you get to, say, level 4 and onwards, you start forming really obvious, or even level 3, they start forming really obvious lines to follow.
Yeah.
Crash Test is hilarious, by the way. I love this kind of challenge.
I was going to say, oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, you're controlling a crash test dummy with the intention to take as much damage as possible in the most hilarious ways as possible. So they have
does this have ragdoll physics?
You'll see.
Bye.
And of course, the further you fall, the more points you get when you land. So falling directly out the level gets you a shit ton, as you just saw, because I've pretty much passed this mission already.
That's fantastic.
And often there's like certain lines you can take that will waste less time and get you a hell of a lot more points than most of them. Like the one I'm coming up to here after this particular fall is particularly impressive. And there's one particular one I really like in level 4 that I just like love that line so much.
That looks great.
Oh.
Yeah, these are some of the funniest missions because of that kind of stuff where you just have a line of TNT boxes launching into each other. And then onto a banana peel to get an extra multiplier. Especially because if you can get the Jester, which as you may have noticed from when I got one earlier, it gives you the multiplier immediately. So you can start the chain with a 2-time multiplier and just get more and more points from there.
So, are you hitting a button to ragdoll, or is hitting those yellow circles?
The banana peels force you to ragdoll. It basically interrupts any trick you do, makes you lose all momentum, makes you just flop, basically, like a fish.
Okay.
Or in this case, marionette.
If you just ran off the roof, like,
you wouldn't get any
yourself...
points because you haven't hit any markers. You need to hit the markers to get the points, unfortunately.
Okay.
So just like falling off a jump won't get you anything. You have to do it in the way the game's intending you to. But it still results in stuff like that. It's always quite fun to watch. And I like the little names it gives. I like that you'll get unique tricks for doing this particular type of mission. You know, the guillotine and things like that. They're only tricks you get by hurting yourself like this.
That backbreaker looks like it broke a lot more than your back, but you know.
With that one being my personal favorite, the flying butt
twist.
twist.
Butt twist.
It's a person twerking across the sky.
Yes.
What determines what trick you do? Like, what determines getting a guillotine
I'm
versus
not entirely
toe trauma?
certain. I think it's the part of your body that hits the ground or the obstacle first.
Hits the ground first, even though you then might, you know, like tumble down
Yeah,
the wall
so like
for
I think
another 3
toe
stories.
trauma is if part of the trick ends with you stubbing your toe on a barrel, it will cause a toe trauma. But if you like land on your arms really hard, it'll become feet and hands, that kind of stuff. I think. I'm not entirely certain.
Yeah. How would you do a flying butt twist in real life?
You would
largely eat a large curry and hope.
Do I jump and I start spinning and I like lean over so I'm sticking my butt up in the air and just rotating about that point.
Yeah, you just
These
twerk
are the other type of flow challenge. I just that can really be annoying if you don't accidentally like press the wrong button and just go launching yourself into the ether. But these are essentially challenges to test how well you can navigate the level. Essentially, they're
Oh,
there to show you
so-
lines you may not have noticed before. Or like ways you can go that you didn't know you could. Some of the races do that too, where like you're falling behind, but then you can see the character do something you may not have noticed you can do. So next time it's like, okay, what did he do last time? That's what I need to do now. So
Okay,
the game
so-
kind of shows you how to do things from there if you're bad enough at to need that.
So these are sort of the line challenges then.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I
Kind
enjoy
of like
challenges
combo
where
in
you...
Tony Hawk's.
I enjoy
Yeah.
challenges where you follow a good line, despite what happened in the whole last month. I enjoy challenges where you follow a good line. I don't enjoy challenges where you follow a really bad line. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So how do you do like a wall walk or something? Does
Wall
it do
walk
that
is pressing
automatically, or
X
do you have to
at the
press a
top
button?
of the wall one. Circle makes you hop off and start a tic-tac, which is jumping from wall to wall. And that is half of the opening level.
Is there a trick called Pez dispenser?
No, but there should have been.
Yeah, there should
there
be
should
one.
have been.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
It can be one of the crash test things where your stomach opens up and your organs just shoot out.
You land hard enough, your head respawns a million times and just goes shooting all over the level, crashing the PlayStation.
Yeah, maybe.
Exactly.
All right, so that was the first half of the first level.
Yeah.
You said. Okay.
All right.
Um,
Looking pretty
we'll be
interesting
back
so
with,
far.
We'll be back with more of the first level.
Yeah.
This.